I'm the chairman now. We've got a new sheriff, and I'm going to call on Senator Schmitt. But before I do, Mr. Tongue, I'm going to give you another chance. I want you to think real hard. I looked at your record. I think you're a good man. You really don't think that somebody's evil just because of their party they're in America, do you?
I don't think that, Senator.
Oh, God bless. Thank you, sir. That's the answer I was looking for, and I don't understand why you wouldn't answer me, maybe because I'm a Democrat, but dear God, that's the easiest question I've heard asked today, and thank you, Chairman Kennedy, for eliciting what is a response we should get from any American who's up for a federal position.
I don't think Senator Booker was trying to trick you. You don't think Republicans are evil, do you?
I do not.
And you don't think independents are evil, do you?
No, Senator.
And you don't think Democrats are evil, do you?
Senator, I do not.
Good. Senator Schmitt.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to, I appreciate, even though you answered the question, I appreciate your restraint on that. I wish more judges would show that kind of restraint in weighing into political questions like Judge Boasberg. Judge Boasberg, before he had any of these cases that he's wrongly decided and been slapped down by the Supreme Court, opined that President Trump wouldn't abide by court orders, which is not true. And I'm glad the Department of Justice has referred Judge Boasberg for disciplinary action. Because judges have no role in weighing in on political questions or making political statements. That's not their job. And I would argue that the more they do that, it debases the respect that the American people will have for our courts if they view them as politicians. So I appreciate the sentiment. I'm glad we don't think everybody's evil, but I appreciate the restraint that you're trying to exhibit in this hearing. And I wish, again, Judge Boasberg would have exhibited that restraint, because not only is he a terrible liberal activist judge, he's also lost the respect and should be disciplined. I'm glad the DOJ has moved forward with that. I want to just take a moment to talk about, and by the way, the Article 3 project, I just want to say something, is doing a very important job of hitting back against a lot of the smears that have come judges' ways just because they happen to be appointed by President Trump. I mean, Judge Beauvais is the most recent example, so I appreciate their advocacy. I want to talk a minute about dissents. We can talk about, in the Dred Scott case, Judge Curtis's dissent that became the rallying cry for the abolitionist movement. In Plessy versus Ferguson, Justice Marshall Harlan dissented and laid the groundwork for Brown versus Board of Education. And in Roe v. Wade, Justice Rehnquist warned against the Supreme Court unilaterally inventing rights that lacked historical or constitutional grounding as a fundamental right. In lower courts, you had Justice Alito's dissent and the Casey decision, which gave the pro-life movement, I think, a lot of hope for the days ahead. I could go on, and I bring this up because for both of you, it's going to play a very important role in the job that you have in front of you. The Ninth Circuit is historically the most overturned circuit at the Supreme Court in recent decades. In the past 2 years, the First Circuit, which has 0 Republican-appointed judge, has been reversed in 100% of the cases the Supreme Court has taken up on the merits. We need judges who are willing to stand up on principle. There's a lot of heat coming your way. There's a lot of vitriol that will come your way. But beyond just the judicial philosophy that I think is really important, it is the courage that it's going to take in many ways to stand on a judicial island in many ways on the First Circuit, on the Ninth Circuit, in the places where there just aren't a lot of conservative judges that have been appointed by Republicans. And so I think in many ways this will be the real test for a lot of the judges that come before this committee. It's not necessarily, I mean, obviously originalism and textualism, those are very, very important creeds that I certainly subscribe to, but you really need people who, when they're in the arena, are going to do the right thing and maybe, just maybe, articulate an argument that will be upheld at some point somewhere else. So, Mr. Dunlap, I wanted to ask you, if you're confirmed, you'll be the only Republican-appointed judge on the First Circuit. As I mentioned, it's been reversed 100% of the time by the Supreme Court. And there's only 4 active district court judges in the First Circuit appointed by Republicans. And the Supreme Court's already had to clean up some messes that the First Circuit has created. How do you view your future role as a judge in the First Circuit in writing even dissential opinions, not only just dissents, given the likelihood you're going to find yourself on an island?
Well, Senator, Mainers are famously independent. I suspect that characterizes me as well. I believe that it is important to work collegially with one's colleagues to reach the best decision possible. I think it is also important that when there is a disagreement, that a judge be willing to write independently, to write a dissent if necessary. I believe that dissents and concurrences can help further the dialogue within the court, can highlight important issues for consideration in the future. And yes, in certain circumstances, it may call attention to an issue that may warrant review by the Supreme Court. So in all of my efforts, should I be confirmed, I would seek to work both collegially and independently on the court.
Mr. Tung, how do you view that as well?
Senator, judges take an oath to uphold the Constitution, and if that means requiring writing a dissent, I will do that if I were confirmed on the Ninth Circuit. Justices Scalia and Gorsuch wrote numerous dissents, and I hope to follow in their stead where necessary.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Coons.